Hello folks and welcome to Formula One Paddock Pass, your pre-race edition for the 2018 Monaco Grand Prix. Welcome to Monte Carlo, welcome to a brand new, very fresh and modern looking Formula One pit lane. 2 floors. I'm never sure whether to say it's 2 floors or 3 floors. Do you know what I mean? Is the ground floor considered to be a floor? Anyway, be that as it may. They've got toilets in. First time ever. That's actually a really big thing for the boys. They don't have to run over. Well, there was little porter cabins used to be in between, or they'd have to run back to the paddock. Now, they can actually go to the loo. In the pit lane. That's actually a very important thing when you're trying to rebuild a Formula One car. Anyway, welcome to Monaco. See, it's all the glitz and all the glam. Where to start? I guess the best place we should start is with championship leader Lewis Hamilton, who was delighted, of course, to win last time out in Spain. It's 2 wins on the bounce for him now, but of course he was trying not to show too much joy in Baku because he'd inherited that win from Valtteri Bottas, who'd had that puncture towards the end. The team is on a very good turn at the moment. The car appears good, but talk in the lead up to the Monaco Grand Prix from Mercedes has been outwardly quite negative. They've really talked down their chances this weekend. Of course, they've got the long wheelbase car. They don't think it's going to be suited to here in Monte Carlo. At least that's what they're saying. They reckon Ferrari, they reckon Red Bull Racing are the favourites coming into this weekend. Is that bluster? Are they talking themselves down to give the other guys more confidence? Time will tell. But here is your championship leader. Here's Lewis Hamilton on his thoughts coming up to a race which he's won and which he loves.
The first win here, oh God, it was one of those races which just weren't quick enough. So you start, but then it rained, and I was like, yes, because I just feel like I've got it all under control particularly when it's raining. And then I hit the wall. Then I had freaking, oh my God, and then you don't know how long it's going to go. And then to come out in the lead, it's those kind of races are the most draw-dropping, the most heart, I don't know how to really explain it, but I guess people watching get the same feeling. But there's so much pressure, there's so much build-up, there's so much preparation, there's such a desire that is, I don't know where. The desire is greater than any other desire there may be outside of the race. When you're in the car to win a race, the desire is in another zone, in another level, in another world. And it's really hard to, if you can harness that energy, I mean, geez, it's powerful. So it's powerful either way, whether it's a good or bad race. But anyways, that was a great one. And so winning here is ultimately just, there's nothing quite like it. But winning here is bloody hard as well.
How do you win here then?
I mean, you've seen in the previous years, I mean, there's got to be a bit of luck. There's got to be absolute perfect execution from the team and strategy. With your laps, you've got to pull out every millisecond and brush the walls if you need to. Use every inch of the circuit. You've got to have the right package here because it's all a large portion. It's about your package as well. So, but you've seen I've been in the lead 20 seconds and not won the bloody race. So, and then you've seen I started third and won the race. So a lot of different things can happen.
The team seems quite downbeat in its sort of what it said it believes its prospects are for this weekend. Are you as downbeat as the team?
I'm not downbeat. I think I'm feeling like I'm realistic. A little bit more of my realistic view is I think the Red Bulls particularly are going to be quick. We've got the longest car, so I mean it's not the most nimble, but it's great. But if we hit the nail on the head, we might be able to be up there and quite quick. But the team, I don't know. They're generally more a nervous bunch. The engineers. I'm like a racer out and out. I turn up, and it's not about being cocky, but I'm like, I want to win this weekend. That's what I put my energy to. They want to win, but they're nervous. They don't know how it's going to work. Have we done the right work? Have we uncovered everything? Have we left a stone unturned? All that kind of stuff is where I'm kind of more just like, let's go out and do it. Just stop thinking and just go. They overthink. So I think, but that's their job to guess, and it's an approach that's worked for them in the past. They don't get cocky, they don't get too excited. They just focus on doing the best job. I'm pumped and want to win this race more than ever, but we all got to do the perfect job.
Good stuff then from Lewis Hamilton. I think you'll agree on his mindset coming into the race. Perhaps, as he says, it's just the engineers being a bit cautious over their expectations for the weekend. Now, Heath started on the halo down here at Ferrari, and for good reason. Of course, in Barcelona, for the first time we saw those wing mirrors attached to the halo, but also above them there was a winglet as well, like a little extra horn coming out the side. They were banned after the Spanish Grand Prix, so they no longer exist. The fairing still exists on the top, those wing mirrors hanging off the side still exist, but that extra little winglet, gone. Now, Ferrari didn't have the pace that I think they, and certainly we, were expecting in Spain. Will they be back to their best here in Monaco? And do they believe Mercedes when Mercedes say that they're not the favourites coming into this weekend? Here's Sebastian Vettel.
No, but what is the change? I think for us, we have plenty of stuff to look for and to look after, so that's what we do. If they struggle, then that's good for everybody who wants to beat them. If they don't, then it's the opposite. But yeah, it's always the same game. But as I said, and I mentioned a couple of things that are important here, and I would put first priority on ourselves, on us, on myself, and not on the others.
Two drivers then to have won here in Monaco. One driver, well, two drivers actually, who have not. Daniel Ricciardo, though, came so close. He came into the pits a couple of years ago thinking, this is it, this is my year. Team wasn't ready. All the commentators over there, up in their commentary boxes, they all knew that the team wasn't ready. They all knew there were no tyres. Poor old Daniel didn't until he got there. Right there. No tyres. Does Monaco owe him one? Does Monaco owe anybody anything? It's one of those circuits, isn't it, that you have to respect, much like surfing. You have to respect the sea or it will bite you. Anyway, does it owe him one? Is this the year that Daniel Ricciardo wins? Everybody thinks, certainly looking at the sector 3 times in Barcelona, that this circuit, high downforce, lots of corners, will suit Red Bull Racing. Will the perfect storm combine and give Daniel Ricciardo a second race win for 2018? Only time will tell. Everyone's talking up your chances this weekend. Does Monaco owe you one?
I will say yes, but it's not going to happen like that. You know, if I think it owes me and I don't put the work in, then I'm never going to get it. So, you know, for sure one got away, but I can't, as I said, just expect it to come back to me. I think if I prepare well, do everything I can right, maybe then, if there are some circumstances, they might, you know, then turn back my way. But yeah, I still need to come in with full force. And it's been cool. Like the week since Barcelona has been great. Been sleeping in my own bed for, you know, a good bunch of nights now, which is consistent. It's nice to just get that routine and yeah, feeling like we're good to go.
And so, to Sahara Force India. Now, we talked about a couple of years ago and Daniel Ricciardo losing that win, ultimately finishing second. Also on the podium that day, Sergio Perez. Of course, Force India have a tendency to always be there to, I'm not going to say luck in, but to take advantage of those interesting, unique situations and bring a podium home. Can they do so this weekend? Monaco can spring a surprising race, a surprising result. Of course, we expect there to be a safety car more often than not. You get a safety car here in Monaco. Can they make the strategy work for them? The most difficult thing, I think, for them this weekend is to really figure out where they are in that midfield battle. They've gone from being right at the bottom of the midfield battle to right at the top in getting that podium in Baku. So where is the ultimate strength of the car? Have the updates all panned out? Have they given them the downforce? And more importantly, here in Monaco, it's a confidence track. You've got to have confidence in that car. If that rear end on the Force India is still loose, if the setup, if the overall balance of the car is not quite what they want, does the driver have the confidence in the car to really be able to push, to really be able to get the most out of this circuit where, as we said, confidence is king? Happy memories here on the podium not too long ago. Any chance of a repeat this weekend?
Well, if the rain comes and there are some mixture of conditions, then anything can happen in Monaco. But in normal conditions, I don't think so. I think the main aim is to win in our category, you know. So that's the biggest target for us this weekend.
Obviously, downforce is crucial. Do you have any updates this weekend? Is it a Monaco-specific spec that you've got on the car?
Yeah, correct. You well know that we have a Monaco package where basically all the load you can have, you throw it in. Here is not important the straight line speed.
The balance, though, has been an issue for you guys all season. Is there a fear this weekend that if you just slap loads of downforce on the car, that rear instability still exists, and here you need confidence in the car more than anywhere?
Yeah, correct. If we're not able to reach a good level of confidence with the car throughout the weekend, it's going to be very hard. So I hope we can reach that level, that we can have a better balance, and hopefully that can transform to better pace.
How hard is that as a driver arriving here if you don't have that confidence in the car, if you're still trying to figure out where you are with it? Because if you go even slightly over the limit here, you're in the wall. There is nowhere for you to go.
Yeah, it's not easy, But yeah, I mean, I hope that all the setup changes that we've made, all the understanding we've done with the car, can bring us closer to the competition.
So, from a team wondering whether they are at the bottom or the top of that midfield pile, to a team that, let's be honest, doesn't really find themselves in the midfield pile at all, battling pretty much in qualifying for either P19 or P20. That is not what Williams expect from a season. That is not what Williams expect from Formula One. It is a difficult task for Sergio Sorokin and Lance Stroll to be able to drag anything resembling a decent result out of this car. We talked about its inherent problems all season, and yet, if you look at Lance Stroll and the results he's been able to pull out recently, he's driven the socks off that car and has put in phenomenally good performances, so much so that in the F1 Power Rankings he is currently sitting in the top 10, I think reflective of the great job that Lance is doing in what is a very difficult season for this most famous and storied of Formula One teams. How big are those steps that you need to make, and in which direction do you need to take them?
Well, I mean, big steps. Looking at lap times, I mean, we're probably a little bit better in the race than we are in qualifying, I'd say. But I don't want to put a number on it because you never know how much everyone else is going to develop the car. So I think it's just about. Doing everything we can, throughout the year, and then looking back at it and realizing that we did give it everything. So that's definitely the approach right now. I don't think we're really we're not really targeting like a position or a lap time. I think we're just trying to get the car to be drivable. And give us drivers confidence so we can deliver and score points. I mean that's the goal. We want to be scoring points for sure on a regular basis because that's what it comes down to.
That's the issue right now, isn't it? I mean, the car doesn't look consistent. And how difficult is that coming here if you don't have the confidence, if you don't have the consistency in the car to know what it's going to do? This is the place that's going to bite you the worst.
Yeah, not necessarily though, because I mean, yes and no. It is a different kind of circuit, so the car can behave differently around here. But for sure, if you don't have trust in the car, you don't believe in the car, you're not comfortable with the balance. It's not easy, especially at a place like this with very little room for error. But we'll see. I don't want to assume that will be the case today. We haven't even started driving yet, so. It could be very different than we expected. We expected in Baku that we were going to struggle, and it was actually by far one of our best weekends so far this year. So that could be the case here, and it's a long year. A lot can happen, a lot can change.
So down to Renault. Believe it or not, hardest tyre compound in use this weekend. You probably can't see. You can just about see the red. Super soft, hardest compound. First appearance of the hyper soft tyre. Will that make a difference? Just got stuck to the thing around here in Monaco. It's going to be fun to see, certainly with all the downforce on the cars with the hyper soft tyres, what lap times will we get in qualifying. That's going to be a real thriller. Anyway, down here at Renault, good start to the season for them. Hülkenberg, innocent victim of Grosjean's mad spin at the start in Barcelona. Carlos Sainz, though, back in the points, finished above his boyhood hero, Fernando Alonso, once again on home soil and confident coming into the Monaco Grand Prix. Is this one you enjoy?
I love it. I just need to turn the camera around and see where we are, no? And then if you switch it on the TV or you go around on track to see the speeds that we are doing, around this track on a Formula One car is absolutely amazing, and I enjoy it, and I hopefully can get as strong results as I've been doing lately here.
Do you think it's going to suit your car?
Yes and no. Yes, because I think we have a strong platform that has been consistent in the first 5 races, always in Q3, so we shouldn't be too worried that we cannot achieve that. But Monaco is a special track, and there's always problems and issues that appear after Thursday. You know, there's always track gives you some headaches always in some corners, and you need to keep developing fast for Saturday, because if not, then that Q3 gets a bit complicated.
Last race you told us you changed your driving style, had to adapt a little bit to the car. When you come somewhere like this, where you have to be so precise to get everything out of it, is there a risk that in changing that style, it doesn't quite work out as you're used to?
Monaco, I have one way of driving this track, and that's pushing flat out and getting close to walls, and I will not be thinking too much about driving styles. I will just push flat out like I've always done.
And so to Toro Rosso, a team that still doesn't really know where it is in the midfield fight. Similar to Force India, is it bottom of that midfield fight? Is it top? You look at Australia, not a great race for them. Then you go to Bahrain, an absolutely phenomenal race for them. It's difficult trying to weigh up how competitive or otherwise Toro Rosso really is. Anyway, both drivers massively looking forward to the Monaco Grand Prix. It will be the first time for both of them racing here in Formula One. And as we asked Brendan Hartley, is this the moment when being a Formula One driver suddenly feels really very real?
Yeah, it's funny, we did the track walk earlier with all the trucks and all the mess, and you know, I've been living here for a few years, so I'm often I actually live on the racetrack. But I think finally getting the roads closed down and being allowed to attack this track in a Formula One car I think it's a real privilege. You know, it's a special track. I think they would never commission a track like this ever again. Although some of the tracks we go to now are still pretty gnarly. You know, I think Singapore and Baku, but I think definitely with the history here, it's a special one for all of us drivers. And okay, there's a lot of glitz and glamour around. I think it's not something all the drivers get to enjoy, not until maybe Sunday night, but it's something we're all aware of, that atmosphere and how special this race is. Yeah.
What are the challenges of this circuit, and is there any margin for error at all?
Very little. You don't really get a chance to breathe. I'm being told to show you the watch, but you don't really get a chance to breathe around here. You're millimeters away from the wall on entry, apex, exit. I think that's very satisfying as a driver when you get that right, and when you get that confidence in the car to really attack those corners knowing that there's no margin. I think every time we go to a street track, all the drivers say, yeah, we love street tracks. I think it's even more incentive for them to make some of the newer tracks, let's say, a bit more penalty for going off, going wide. I think we all enjoy the challenge of less margin. Yep.
Have you got a car underneath you this weekend to pull off a decent result?
It's a good question. So far this year, I mean, we arrived at the second round in Bahrain and we had such a competitive car, which I think surprised us as much as everybody else. But since then, we simply haven't had a competitive car come race day. I scored my first point in Baku, which was great, but again, I wouldn't say it was on pure pace from a team's point of view. I think this will play to our strengths a bit more. We've predominantly been quite quick in low speed tracks. I think the last few races, tyre temperatures were a big question mark. When it was hot in Bahrain, I think we were easier on the tyres. We got the tyres a bit better in the window. It's a complicated story. I'm sure when you talk up and down the pit lane, a lot of the drivers have similar comments, getting those tyres in the right window. But I think if history is correct, you know, this has been a strong track for Toro Rosso. We have updates this weekend. I don't get them till Saturday. Pierre's got the updates on the car for Friday. But we do have a new floor, so maybe a bit more downforce, which is much needed around here. To cut the story short, I hope so. And you know, if we can get through to Q3 and finish in the points, it will be a good job.
Now, Monaco, of course, is a circuit where you can make little to no mistakes at all through Saint-Devote, up Beau Rivage into Mahasane, into Casino Square. We find ourselves at Haas, as we're saying, you can make no mistakes here in Monaco. It is a confidence track. But one man low on confidence right now, having suffered the worst start to a Formula One season in his career, Romain Grosjean, a grid drop this weekend after that first lap nuttiness in Barcelona. Where's his head at as we arrive in the Principality?
Yeah, I think I've got the confidence in the car, I've got the confidence in the team, and I know we're doing a great job, and the car is getting more and more to my liking, you know. I mean, yeah, the season hasn't started we wanted, but those last 2 races are nothing compared to my 130s I've done so far, and 10 podiums. So yeah, it hasn't been a great last 2 or 3 weeks, but anyway, we're here and we're ready to go and race. It's a nice place to be. I'm hoping the car is going to be performing very well, and we're just going to build the pace during the weekend and see what we can do on Saturday.
You said you've got the confidence in the car, you said you've got the confidence in the team. There's one aspect you missed on that. Do you have the confidence in you? How difficult is it to stop yourself getting into a spiral?
Just put your head down and pedal faster. You know, it's part of our life, and I had that in 2012 with the start incident, and I'm back here, and you know, I mean, you go through good time, tough times. We're all making a Monday of a mole hole, but as I say, there's 2 races that didn't go quite well. The 3 first ones, I couldn't do anything different. The performance was there, so you know, I don't want to look backwards. I just want to look forward. There's 16 races to go, plenty of occasions. The car is good. I think I haven't lost my driving, so we should be good.
So from one driver with question marks to another, are those question marks over Stoffel Vandoorne unfair? It's a question we put to him. The comparison in Formula One will always be with your teammate. And when that teammate is a 2-time world champion and arguably one of the greatest drivers this sport has ever known, is that comparison fair?
I don't think it's an unfair comparison. I think the nature of the sport is that you will always be compared to your teammate. I think, you know, I have a very good relationship with Fernando. We're getting on very well, but it's not my only focus to beat him. I think I'm really focusing on building a future. We're not really in a position now to go out there and fight for a world championship. But yeah, he's a very good benchmark to me. I know he's one of the highest standards in Formula One, and that I see that only as a positive.
With everybody focusing so much on Fernando, do you fear that you slip into the shadows a little bit, or would you sort of rather not have the focus on you so you can just plough on and do the job?
No, I don't think it is that way. I think there's a very, very clear strategy in the team, and I think there's no preference for one driver or another. So we both get the same opportunities. Every race I'm learning more and more, getting more experience, building on that, and I think the day we will be competitive, then everything should be good.
And so to finish the interviews today, we come down here to Sauber and of course to the local boy Charles Leclerc. Believe it or not, he lives a couple of 100 metres over there, just past the start-finish straight. This really is a home race. It doesn't get much more home racy. Now, Lewis Hamilton racing at home at Silverstone. Silverstone's miles from Stevenage. But these are the streets on which Charles Leclerc grew up. There's a bus stop on the start-finish straight. He used to take that bus and go to that bus stop to go to school. It doesn't get much more real for the guy, and on a brilliant run of form, 2 points finishes in a row. Happy times, I think, and something very, very special for Charles Leclerc this weekend.
Difficult to do the change of mindset when you're waking up in the bed. You are sleeping all year. So yeah, but I definitely need to now, because tomorrow we already have the first free practice, and I can't wait to drive the track. I really like city tracks in general, and to have one at home feels absolutely incredible. So I can't wait to be back behind the steering wheel tomorrow.
How do you make that switch between being at home and being a racing driver? I mean, there's little things, like you're used to staying in hotels and coming downstairs and having breakfast, but you're at home, so you've got to make your own breakfast and make your own coffee and all just little things.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's pretty strange. Then the mindset itself is difficult. It's just the way you go to the track. I mean, going to the track normally, I'm taking the car, going to the track to somewhere I don't know. I just put the GPS on the track. But here it's a little bit different. I'm leaving on the straight finish line, so I do 20 meters and I'm in the box, and then going into the paddock. So it's very different to normal.
You've had 2 races on the bounce in the points. Baku in particular was a great drive, street circuit, but a very different street circuit to this. How do you think the team and you will go this weekend?
I'm struggling to tell my expectations now, because I think we got the expectation quite wrong in Barcelona, thinking it will be a very difficult weekend, but at the end it has been a very positive weekend. Baku, we expected that type of performance, but for here we expect again quite a difficult weekend for us, because we lack downforce, and that's what we need around here in Monaco. So yeah, hopefully we are surprised in a good way, like we were in Barcelona tomorrow. I really hope so, because obviously I really want to do well here in my hometown.
So that is your lot from Formula One Paddock Pass as we look towards the 2018 Monaco Grand Prix. Are Mercedes right to be worried? Does Ferrari have the advantage, or does that advantage lie with Red Bull Racing? Can Daniel Ricciardo finally get that victory here on the streets of the Principality? Cannot wait to see. As always in Monaco, something mad's going to happen. That's just the way it usually goes down. It is the grandest Grand Prix of them all. Can't wait for the weekend to pan out. Join us over the weekend for everything. Thanks for following along, and yeah, we'll see you later.